Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Inside the Blue podcast. I know it's been a while since I made an episode. It's been, I think, about like 2 months, maybe like 8 weeks since I made an episode. And that's just because I was really busy with school. I do go to college, and at the beginning of the semester, I had an audit class. Since I'm an accounting major, I had an audit class that was like really condensed. It was a sped up accelerated class. So it lasted like the first I would say like the first 7 to 8 weeks of the semester. So it was obviously like trying to cram like a semester's worth of information within like 8 weeks. So it was crazy, and it was also a night class, so that sucked too. It was like 7 to 9:45 p.m. 2 days a week. So that really sucked. But other than that, I also got sick for a bit. Like I got like really sick with a cold, and I'm still kind of recovering from that still. I keep coughing here and there, trying to get rid of it, but for the most part I'm fine. But yeah, I was really busy with school mainly, and now that audit class is over, now I have a lot more free time. I still have other classes going on, obviously the semester's still going, but now that class is over, I have a lot more free time. So I'm able to make podcast episodes again, and perfect timing because at the time I'm recording this, the regular season starts in about 24 hours, actually maybe less than 24 hours, because the Giants are playing on Wednesday, I believe. So everyone else plays on Thursday, which is like, I guess, official opening day, let's say. But tomorrow there is one game, and that's the Giants. I forgot who they're playing against. Let me see that really quick. I believe it's the Giants versus the Yankees. Okay, yeah. So Giants versus Yankees on Netflix is tomorrow. So technically opening day is tomorrow, but official opening day, let's say, is on Thursday, where everybody gets to play. And that is also when our Dodgers are going to play. So we're going to get into all of that throughout the episode. There's kind of a lot to talk about in this one since I was away for so long. Spring training has officially concluded. The Dodgers just finished playing against the Angels, where they lost 3-0. It literally just ended maybe 5 minutes ago. But yeah, so they lost 3-0, but the Dodgers finished spring training 20-9. So they had a very good spring. MLB had crowned them the Cactus League spring training champions. I believe that they also won spring training last year, I want to say. I can't remember, but yeah, so they technically won Cactus League spring training, so hang the banner. But yeah, so the Dodgers finished 20-9, and a lot of the Dodger players had a very good spring. We're going to talk about a few performances throughout spring training, some good, some that could have used improvement, and we're going to see who can be potentially called up during the season from the minor leagues. And we're also going to talk about what we can expect going into opening day. And I also kind of want to touch on the World Baseball Classic. I know that ended last week, I believe. And I was away during the entire WBC. Obviously, I wasn't making episodes. And if I'm honest, I really didn't watch that much spring training this time. I did watch a few games here and there, but like I said, I was just so busy with school. I really felt like I didn't have enough time to really enjoy spring training and sit and watch the games like I really wanted to. I was mainly watching highlights and things like that from social media. But I do know what was going on. I know the stats, so we're going to dive into that in this episode. So before we get started with all that, let's talk about the WBC. So in the World Baseball Classic final, it was Team USA versus Team Venezuela. And Team Venezuela proceeded to win 3-2. And man, that has to suck for Team USA, because Not only did they lose 3-2 in this World Baseball Classic, but in 2023, they also lost by that same score to Team Japan. So it's just funny how, like, the last two baseball classics, Team USA has just gotten the bad end of the stick there and lost by the same score. So not really much to say about the WBC. I just kind of wanted to like talk about that final score, and man, Team USA just could not hit anything. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. They went out pretty sad, but Team Venezuela was really, really good, and I just want to give my congratulations to them. They played a fantastic WBC, and they deserved that final win. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about in terms of the World Baseball Classic. We did see a few Dodgers throughout that series, or throughout that tournament, I should say. Will Smith was on Team USA. We went over this in a previous episode. I know we got to see Kershaw pitch in the WBC, but he didn't do that great, if I recall. And he is now officially in retirement, so he will not be doing any more baseball activities. However, he will be on the NBC broadcast team. I did mention this in a previous episode as well, that they were trying to finalize a deal to bring Kershaw on as an analyst, and they have done so. So we will be hearing and seeing Clayton Kershaw on the NBC broadcasts for baseball games. I don't know how many games he will be broadcasting throughout the season. I'm not exactly sure, but we will definitely be seeing him on that network a few times, maybe more. And that's pretty exciting. Like I said before, Kershaw has a really, really good knowledge of the game as a whole. And every time he's interviewed, whether it be on the national broadcast or even during the games on Sportsnet LA, his interviews and his insight is always the most interesting. So I look forward to seeing him on the NBC broadcasts. So let's move on to the spring training recap for the Dodgers. So like I mentioned before, they finished spring training as of tonight, 20 wins and 9 losses. So they did really, really well in spring. Obviously, I mean, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, regardless if their starters are playing the full game or not. They were putting up a lot of runs, and the minor leaguers and the major leaguers were consistently getting hits, getting a lot of runs, and playing really, really good baseball throughout the spring. And that really adds credence to the fact that, you know, people like to say that the Dodgers, you know, buy their team, buy their championships and whatnot, but people forget that the Dodgers have a very good farm system down there in the minor leagues. They have a really good player development. A lot of people forget the fact that, you know, guys like Will Smith, Andy Pajes, Walker Buehler, Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager were all guys that were in the minor league system and became superstars at one point in their career or another. And that is a credit to the Dodgers player development. They draft very well and they develop players very, very well. With that being said, their minor league system is still very, very good. We just saw that throughout spring training. And I also want to get into some key players that I noticed that really stood out to me from what I saw and from what I was hearing on social media. One of them being Santiago Espinal. So Santiago Espinal this spring batted .571 through 14 at-bats, and he had an on-base plus slugging of 1.381 with 2 RBIs and 1 stolen base. That's pretty incredible considering the fact that Santiago Espinal is not really known for being very productive. He's not a very productive bat. I mean, his career stats in the MLB is a .261 average with only 20 homers and 160 RBIs with an OPS of .665. So not very productive at all. He's a below average bat. There were times where he was pretty good. I remember watching him on the Blue Jays and thinking like, hey, this guy's pretty good. You know, he's really, really good. He's very good defensively. And we've also seen the defensive side of him during spring training as well. But he's always been known as like a very minimal power bat, not so much hitting home runs, more contact hitter heavy. And we saw that throughout spring training. And I think that that's what the Dodgers need. They got Alex Call at the deadline last season for that exact reason. They needed a good contact hitter. And I think they found that in Santiago Espinal. I think something in him woke up during this spring training. And I also credit that to the Dodgers staff. I really think that when players come to the Dodgers, be it a batter or a pitcher, for the most part, they develop into a better player than they were elsewhere. And we've seen this happen to plenty of players where the Dodgers will take a player from another team or claim them off waivers or what have you, who are just average to below average hitters. Let's use Chris Taylor as an example. Chris Taylor came from the Seattle Mariners, where he wasn't known to be a very good hitter. When he came to the Dodgers, he became a superstar. He's had some of the most clutch hits for the Dodgers in recent years. And that's just a credit to the Dodgers training staff and the Dodgers player development. So I think they unlocked something in Santiago Espinal and really turned him into a very, very good hitter. Because if this keeps up, if he doesn't leave this performance in spring training and continues to bring it over into the regular season, they have a fantastic contact hitter in their lineup, which is something that they really, really need to allow the power hitters in their lineup to hit home runs, score more RBIs, and, produce obviously more runs. So that's really good. And the fact that, Tommy Edman is on the injured list, he's going to start the season on the injured list. That gives Santiago Espinal and a few other players more opportunities to play in games, which we will see, because I believe Espinal can play third base and second base, if I'm not mistaken. So I really think we're going to see him a lot at second base with Miguel Rojas, them switching out until Tommy Edman comes back. After that, I really don't know what will happen to Espinal unless he just forces his way still into the lineup, which he probably will. And speaking of Tommy Edman, I believe he is going to be out until May, I believe. I believe him and Blake Snell are supposed to be out until May. So Blake Snell's also starting the season on the injured list. There's a good amount of injuries that the Dodgers are going to have to start the season. And it's kind of a reflection of what happened last season, right? So last season, the Dodgers had a bunch of players, pitchers specifically, to start the season all on the injured list. Brusdar Graterol was one of them. He's, again, still starting the season on the injured list. I don't know when he will be back. I don't believe there's a timeline for his return. Blake Snell is one. Tommy Edman is another. Evan Phillips is another injury they will have, but he just had Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out the rest of the season, I believe. Gavin Stone is going to start the season on the injured list with shoulder inflammation, and that's pretty much it. So not as many injuries this time compared to last season, but the injuries that they do have are significant enough to be warranting some replacement. And pitching specifically, so Blake Snell obviously is a big hit to the starting rotation, and when you look at their rotation right now, the Dodgers have Yamamoto, Ohtani, Emmett Sheehan, Tyler Glasnow. Now there's one spot open, and if they want to go with a 6-man rotation, there are 2 spots open. One, we think Roki Sasaki, but after the spring he just had, which we'll get into, I don't think that he is going to be a starter for very long. They will put him in the rotation to start the season and base their decision on his performance, whether he continues to have command issues and walk a lot of people and give up a lot of runs. They will determine from there whether they will send him down to AAA or move him to the bullpen. I really think that they should send him down to AAA to figure it out like they did last year. Because, again, last year we saw Sasaki struggle in the beginning of the season, and they sent him down to AAA, brought him back up later on in the season, put him in the bullpen, and he just dominated out of the pen, which is what I mentioned before in a previous episode is that I really wanted Sasaki to stay in the bullpen. I really think that he shines in that role because it's very limited performances. He's not out there for very long. And I think the longer that Sasaki is out there on the mound, the more he will struggle and lose command. So that's something he has to figure out down in AAA. And I'm sure that he will. And I think that the Dodgers will send him down to AAA at some point in this season because I really don't see Sasaki lasting as a starter the entirety of the season, especially after the spring he had. I believe he had to end the spring. I think he had an 18 ERA. That's really, really bad. So with that being said, there is a potential spot open in the rotation, and I really think that the Dodgers need to call up River Ryan. Now, they optioned River Ryan to the minor leagues just recently, even though through spring training he posted a 1.86 ERA and had a 33% strikeout rate. They still optioned him down, and that really proves one thing to me, and that is that they are thinking very long term with River Ryan. They really want to develop him into a true ace. And even though he had really, really good stuff in spring training and had an under 2 ERA, I think that they really want to wait on bringing him up to the major leagues. I really think they want to develop him to his full potential before they bring him up to the majors. However, I really think that it would be the way to go, considering that there is 2 open spots in the rotation if they want to go with a 6-man rotation. If not, there is 1 potential spot open with Blake Snell being gone. That could mean that it could go to Roki Sasaki or Emmett Sheehan. I really think Emmett Sheehan would be the better choice at this point over Sasaki, but I have a feeling that the Dodgers will just throw Sasaki out there and watch his performance throughout the first half of the season. So that's on the pitching side of things. Now, looking at the lineup as a whole, we know that Santiago Espinal is on the 40-man roster. He made the opening day roster, so he will be on the bench during the regular season. So I did want to mention as well that the Dodgers optioned Hye-Sung Kim down to AAA, and I saw a lot of people concerned over this move, and I want to say that this move is the right move. Even though I love Hye-Sung Kim and I want to see him play every single day, because I stated this in another episode, that I did want to see Hye-Sung Kim get more playing time, I would rather have him in AAA getting regular at-bats every day than to be in the major leagues and get limited at-bats, because we know that if he's up at the major league level, we saw this last season, he did not get a lot of playing time. So the Dodgers, again, are doing what they're doing with River Ryan with Hye-Sung Kim, and that is keeping him down in AAA to really develop him into a star player, a better player, and give him regular at-bats to get him used to, I guess, major league style pitching. Even though he was up at the major league level last year, they really want him to hone in on his hitting and develop into a better hitter. And he'll get to do that in AAA, again, having at-bats every day, regular at-bats. So a lot of people were, kind of mad over that just because, when he was up at the major league level, he was producing very, very well. He was contributing, and he became a fan favorite, and he became one of my favorite players. I love Hye-Sung Kim, but I really think that sending him down to AAA for the time being is the right move. We will definitely be seeing Hye-Sung Kim come up during the season. So, it's not to say that we won't see him play during the regular season at the major league level. We will. They'll definitely call him up, and I definitely think they will also call River Ryan up at some point. I did want to mention a few other standout performances from spring training. I want to start with Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar Hernandez batted .449 with 5 homers and 21 RBIs. So he had a very, very good spring. And I know a lot of people aren't really high on Teoscar Hernandez anymore because he just really has bad defense, and I try to overlook his defensive mishaps. I hope that he does better defensively this season, especially because he's going to be out in left field and not right field. But he had a really, really good spring offensively. And so did Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas batted .362 with a .92 OPS and 2 home runs. So Miguel Rojas also had a very good spring. He's obviously going to be rotating at second base, more than likely with Santiago Espinal, with Tommy Edman being on the injured list. And on the pitching side, I want to talk about 2 standout performances, one being Alex Vesia. So Alex Vesia is back. He posted a 1.13 ERA with a whip of .88 and 8 strikeouts. So he had a very, very good spring. He is going to just be absolutely nails in that bullpen. And last but not least is Tyler Glasnow. So Tyler Glasnow had a 3.45 ERA. So pretty good ERA, but he had a whip of .77 and 26 strikeouts. That whip is fantastic. That is under 1. Anything under 1 is really, really good for a pitcher. And Tyler Glasnow had a really good spring. So those were some of the standout performances from spring training that I saw and that I really paid attention to. So that's spring training. Again, the Dodgers finished 20-9. So they were the Dodgers in spring training. Nothing new there. They just need to carry over that positive production and winning attitude into the regular season, which we all know that they will. If the Dodgers do one thing, it's win. And we've seen that year in and year out. And so again, the goal going into the regular season is, can they win another World Series? Can they win back to back to back? That is going to be the question that we will seek to answer by season's end. So the season will begin on Thursday for the Dodgers, and they will be playing, of course, at Dodger Stadium. And speaking of Dodger Stadium, I saw that the Dodgers are partnering with Uniqlo, and for the first time since the Dodgers have moved to LA, there will be a sponsorship on the Dodger Field. So it's going to be called Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. When I saw the news, I kind of laughed and I was like, that sounds a little bit funny. I don't see any harm in that. I know a lot of people are kind of divided on it. It does sound weird because, I really don't think that anyone will be calling it Uniqlo Field or Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. I really highly doubt that people will call it that, because I'm not. I'm still calling it Dodger Stadium, and I'm sure every single person will be calling it Dodger Stadium and not Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium or Uniqlo Field. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I really just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of the WBC, kind of just mention it and go over what I personally saw in spring training and sort of a little outlook on the regular season. I made a whole episode about like my expected outlook for this season before. So I just kind of wanted to look at spring training and assess some performances that I saw and how they could contribute to the Dodgers regular season. So that's pretty much it. Spring training is officially over, and we are less than 24 hours away from opening day. So this podcast will definitely be ramping up more so because the regular season is starting. I believe I stated in a previous episode that the way I'm going to go about the regular season is I'm going to recap the series of games rather than each and every single game. So we're not doing like 162 episodes. It's going to be an episode that recaps the series. So at the end of the Diamondback series, the opening series, I'll make an episode recapping that entire series, and that will be the format going forward throughout the season. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you guys after the opening series against the Diamondbacks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Inside the Blue podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.